A recent study found that people who live in walkable communities are more socially engaged and trusting than those who live in less walkable areas. The residents reported being happier and healthier and more apt to volunteer, which is important to AARP, work on community projects, which should be important to every community, or just simply entertain friends at their home. It makes sense. Walkable communities promote healthy behavior for all ages, encourage walking, biking, and being out and about in the neighborhood. Also, walkable communities encourage the use of public transportation. Basically, the way the streets are designed, they're easily accessible to a bus stop. They don't have to depend on their cars. Walkable communities obviously reduce traffic congestion and pollution because people leave their cars at home. And studies show that walkable communities are associated with higher home values. The bottom line, a walkable community is a place where you can experience a higher quality of life. There's also studies shown that, especially with the town project, town center project, that business is improved, with people be able to walk and safely around their communities. Walkability and complete streets, and what's the connection? They're very much, they go hand in hand, obviously. For your information, as we mentioned before, Portsmouth did pass a complete streets resolution in April of this year. The adoption of this resolution demonstrates that your town really does recognize the benefits of complete streets and supports the consideration and use of complete street concepts as the roads are built, which aren't many, or are being reconstructed. I put a copy of that resolution in your package, and we're actually holding this workshop at the request of the planning board, because when we did the complete streets at Tier and Deborah Miller, they asked that we do a walkability survey of the area. Complete streets is really a new way of thinking about how to design roads, and it's like Kathleen said, it's a mandate for good design. Incorporating complete streets principles from the very beginning and take advantage of the improvements that are already slated to begin. Complete streets features won't necessarily increase any funding. So they won't increase any funding if you do it necessarily the first time. We were asked in Woonsocket particularly about that, and really to put, like DOT, if you have a utility pole in the middle of the sidewalk, you know, how much more concrete is required to build a way around that pole as opposed to going straight so a wheelchair can get around. It might be that much more, if you have the land, that much more concrete. So the cost is really may not add when you're taking any of these considerations. Streets should be defined by the local community and the needs of the people they are intended to serve. Our roadways should support the freedom and the safety and convenience of choosing whether to travel by car, by bike, transit, or on foot. We're going to go through, we've talked so much about every one of these situations, but just basically as a review. Complete streets provides safe access for road users of all ages and abilities. People who are walking, people on bicycles, riders of public transportation, and people in cars. We have up on the top here the perfect world, the perfect downtown. This is what Portsmouth will become. Complete streets are welcoming to walkers. We have wide, well-maintained sidewalks. The hazards, the crosswalks are hazard-free. There are curb cuts. We have a median strip for people as pedestrians are crossing the street. They have a place that they can stop and wait for the line. Down below are some photos that were taken in a walkability survey we did in Newport. One very hot August 2 years ago, actually last year. And you can see the cracked sidewalks. This is coming out from Walmart Shopping Center. There's a main walking area there. There's no crosswalk. The curb cut doesn't even really line up with where you would be crossing. And the refuge is there, but doesn't appear to be too safe. Complete streets are welcoming to bicyclists. We have a bicycle lane or a marked area for bicycles, or a share road that's working for in other communities. And here, this is on Connington Highway. The bicycles go the wrong way, and there's no shared roadway there. Complete streets are welcoming to riders of public transportation. In the perfect world, there's a bus shelter. There's a little area for the bus to stop so people can It doesn't prohibit the flow of traffic. There's, as I said, a nice shelter, a bench and shade. And here's a posting that you see, and many of you see on East Main Road. It's just on the pole, people wait for a bus. And sometimes it's maybe rainy, it's hot like today, so it may not, it does not welcome people to take public transportation. Incomplete streets are also welcoming to motorists. We talked about much of the signals and the traffic lights, and the turn lanes and the roundabouts. In this world here, the traffic can flow freely. And here, this is right by Newport Grand in the Best Western. I mean, there's a road to nowhere, everybody's converging. This is the project that DOT is approaching, got the approval for. So that will all be an improvement. What does a walkable community look like? We had marketed it's walker friendly, and it's key to developing a downtown area. The survey that we'll be doing, and we welcome all who feel that the heat won't be too much to join us out to do a survey. But the survey itself, and there's one in your package, has 4 sections. We're looking for traffic signals. That's already come up. I mean, many of these answers you already know because you live here when you do it, but we almost want to document these types of things that are on the road. Traffic signals for crossing, median strips for safety when going across the street, no obstructions. If you're, say on the side of the road, is there a big hedge? I know on my street, if I come out, I cannot see the traffic. I have to poke my car out. So is there no obstructions for blocking the view? The motorist can see you as a walker, and you can see the vehicles. Crosswalks are clear and they're level. And the curb cuts, again, aligned with the sidewalks, with the crosswalks. And there's a texture section for those that are visually impaired, that they know that they're coming to a change, and they're coming to a crosswalk. The second section of the survey is looking at the sidewalks. Are they present, which we know is an issue here in many places, and are they continuous? I know on East Main Road, we need to document, they come to a dead end, and there's some grass here, and then they start up. Are they wide enough? Are they wide enough if you're in a wheelchair, if you were on a walker, or you had a baby carriage? Are they wide enough to travel, to walk safely? Is there a buffer? That came up earlier. Is there a buffer from traffic? So that when you're walking, you're not right on the edge and the cars are whizzing by. There's some buffering there. And are the sidewalks maintained? So there's not the bumps and the cracks, so there's a trip hazard. We talked about driver behavior. The chief did. The speed limits posted. Are they observed? Are the traffic signals obeyed? Do they even bother to yield to walkers? Are drivers distracted on the phone? I know they're not texting now in Rhode Island, but and are there bicycle lanes? And many of these questions you already know, but we're just this is a standard form that we're trying to document this section of town. Security, comfort. Do walkers feel that there's appeal in the area? Is it well lit at night? When you see, and we won't be able to tell today, but can you see that there are the cobra heads up there, or there's lighting that potentially is well lit? Is the street clean and free of graffiti? Does the traffic, is it smooth flowing? Is there shade? That's you. You're the shade. And benches to relax. If someone is walking from Town Hall down to Clements, and is there a place to relax and to stop? And on the bus stops, pleasant. This is a photo Dan Byrne had taken. This is some community in the Midwest. There's no bike lane, no sidewalks, poor lighting, no marked crossings, no signage. And now they got here, where there are bike lanes, there's sidewalks, so it's possible. Street lighting is more pleasant and it's better lit. Street crossings, bus stop, shelters, and there's good street signage. What I'm saying is that be open to solutions. Just be open. We're really here to document. We may not know. We're not technicians. We don't know the solutions, and we may think there should be a crosswalk here. Make that observation that you see people, but we're not the technicians. We're not the professionals. We just need to document the environment. So be open to solutions, but actually just observe is what our role is today.